He's Jeff King. I'm Andy Erickson. This is not another shooting show. We go to Cobb County, Georgia, where the police department has charged a 22-year-old man who they say accidentally shot himself while officers were attempting to arrest him during a traffic stop last week. Police say they tried to arrest James B. Lawrence on December 10th during a traffic stop. He began running away and was fumbling with a gun. During the struggle, Lawrence's gun discharged. It hit him. They didn't say where it hit him, but he was taken to the hospital and has since been released. But he now faces charges of aggravated assault on a law enforcement officer, possession of a firearm during the commission of a crime, 2 counts of criminal trespass, willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer, and possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. We won't be seeing Mr. Lawrence for quite some time. Do you have a problem with that, Mr. Lawrence? Made me think of Karate Kid.
This article is so interesting because the article is in like weird chunks.
It's written by AI. This is what news has become. It's fucking parsed by AI, and I fucking hate it.
Yeah, because it says the driver of the car Lawrence was charged with a handicapped parking violation. So that's why he was dealing with the cops. The third person in the car was arrested and charged with fleeing or attempting to elude police officers, terroristic threats and acts, willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer, possession of a sawed-off shotgun, sawed-off rifle, machine gun, dangerous weapon or silencer, and possession of a firearm or knife during the commission of a crime. It's like, damn. All because your buddy parked at a handicapped spot.
And I thought the article was over because there was a bunch of ads and bullshit right underneath that. And I was just like, oh, okay, like we had enough. I was going to wrap it up there. I'm glad you went on.
It's very poorly formatted.
Very, 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 very. Ads in the middle of news articles make my ass itch. I can't stand it. There's what hurts my soul more than anything is when I hear about these fucking AI radio DJs. I mean, it's bad enough that the entire radio industry is now voice tracked. That's what it's called when you pre-record a show and you're not actually there. It's called voice tracking. And like, especially like iHeart, they're the fucking worst. Well, they started it basically. They'll have one DJ in like, say, Minneapolis, and then they voice track for iHeart stations in smaller markets and even some other big markets all over the fucking place. Yeah. And they're not there. But now they've got AI chicks doing it. It's always a chick, at least the ones I've heard. I've not heard a guy so far. One was actually based on a real person. That was out in Oregon. And then there was another one that just, it sounds like a bad robot voice from a movie in 2003.
Ugh, who signed off on that?
I don't know. It's terrible. I wonder why radio's dying. Why I got out of the business. Okay. Another story. Jeff has been trying to get me to do intro stories because the intro story is like, we're having fun poking fun at somebody that shoots himself, but they didn't die. And it's kind of hard to do that when they die. Yes. But there's a thing on the other side of the planet where it happens kind of a lot.
Yeah, it's an annoying enough occurrence that if you type in groom dies to celebratory gunfire, it will bring up many articles.
Yeah.
It is a very common thing in, I've seen it in Africa. I've seen it in the Middle East, and kind of Central Asia are the most prevalent places where basically everyone's very excited. And so they start shooting AKs in the air, and then they do it one-handed and someone loses control and just smokes someone else in the party of some sort.
Yeah. The article Jeff sent me, groom died of his injuries he sustained from celebratory gunfire after his wedding in northern Turkey. It was the fucking groom. As the newlyweds were being escorted home after the ceremony, the groom, identified as Ali K., who was 23, was wounded by gunfire allegedly at the hands of a female relative of his wife. Security forces detained the woman who, and 2 unlicensed pistols were found in her garden. Prosecutors have opened an investigation into the incident. Celebratory gunfire is common at weddings in Turkey's northern Black Sea region. Another man died last week, and 2 others were wounded by celebratory gunfire before a wedding in northeastern Trabzon province. The wedding was canceled, and 2 people were detained, one of whom was a police officer.
So we're not directly, insulting this dude who was on his wedding day, just like,
Yes,
hey,
I feel bad for Ali.
yeah, but
I really do.
The aunt or sister or cousin or whoever was the relative of the wife.
I've seen so many of those videos though, like on Reddit, where
Yeah.
they got an AK and it just starts like sweeping around and.
Oh yeah, and it's the craziest part, and the part of it's just the shock factor, and like you don't understand what's going on. But you'll watch these, and a dude will just like murder another guy, and the guy with the gun's like, "Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god!" Everyone else is like, "What just happened?"
Yeah,
Like,
someone's
something
shooting.
happened. Yeah, it's a very surreal thing to watch, and yeah, so Reddit idiots with guns is a very. You see these a lot on there.
Yeah.
Sometimes your Instagram feed will be like, "Oh, you watch one of these. That means you want to watch all of these."
Yeah. There's that too.
So yes, celebratory gunfire, never a good idea. New Year's is coming up. No, bullets must come down, and you never know where. You hope everyone's pointing them straight in the air.
How would you do celebratory gunfire in a safe way?
If I'm just here for the noise, I point it down at a berm. And
Right.
just-
That's what I'm thinking. Like, you just point it at the ground.
Yeah, just mag dump.
Mag
into-
dump straight into the ground, away from other people, like not in a group, not on the dance floor.
Yep.
I've always thought of that on 4th of July because there's fireworks going off all around my house. If I went in the backyard and dumped a mag into the ground, actually, no, I wouldn't do that because then I'm going to have brass laying around, and if a cop does come snooping around, I'm probably going to miss a case. I'm going to take my revolver out there and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No one's going to think that's a gun on the 4th of July.
Yeah. Yeah, no, 100%. I've had that same thought over and over again. But yeah, you just get into that, like, what if someone sees me? What if there's evidence? Like, even if a cop gets a report of it, they're probably just going to be like, whatever. You're mistaken.
Yeah. It sounded like gunshots. Uh-huh. Sure. That is a weird thing, though. Have you ever heard, like, booms going off? And it's like, as an educated ear, that doesn't sound like fireworks.
Yes. Yep. I've definitely had that happen where I'm like, that's not fireworks sounding.
And one time I know I was correct because it was on the news. It was years ago, but it was like probably 10 years ago or so. It was just after I'd gotten back into shooting, and there was it was a boom that just didn't sound like a firecracker. Firecrackers are typically either really high pitched and loud, or they're really low pitched and loud. And this was sort of that middle pitch kind of thundery noise, just not the same. It wasn't the boom didn't come from like the ether up in the air.
yeah.
It like came from like sideways.
Right.
And that's why it was like that, and the sound, yeah, it was weird. Anyway, I'm not going to mag dump a revolver into my yard. Law enforcement of Sioux Falls, South Dakota.
To all one of you who listens.
My luck, I would hit a fucking gas line or something, I mean, they're
Right.
down pretty deep. The actually a cable company was like rerunning. They had to dig in our yard here right before it started snowing I think the cable company's running fiber now. And
Yep.
so they had it all dug up or whatever. Okay, Jeff, you say too much grip can be bad.
Yeah. So I before we started recording, because we're recording at kind of a weird time.
Yeah. Wednesday afternoon at 1:45.
Yep. I was talking to my buddy Nolan because I'm trying to sell him my Shadow 2, and we got talking about grips, and he was talking about how he wanted to try the brass grips and this and that and the other, and I was like, yeah, just make sure. Like, I didn't enjoy the lock brass grips. I felt they didn't vibe with me, but he's like, yeah, and then I mentioned Stephen Lane and Nick's attempt at brass grips, and he goes, "Oh no!" And it made me go, "You can have too much grip on the gun. Like when your hand is bleeding, or you have to like consciously think about your like how you put your hand on the gun. You've gone a little too far the other direction." Because I personally was I was like, you know what? I want to get, before they had those ones, I was like, I want that like pokey sticks in hand open gun grip, because I'd held someone's
Yeah.
and I don't think I'd even shot it. I think I just held it, and I was like, okay, like I can see an advantage here. And it wasn't until watching Lane, Nick, and Steven kind of battle these things that I was like, oh, there can be too much of a good thing.
Yeah. Now, I have found I have a greater tolerance for rougher grips than I used to, just because I work for a living now and my hands are more calloused than they used to be. I'm not clicking a mouse all day. So I've handled some very, very rough, painfully sharp grips, but I still don't like them. Like, I can tolerate them better than I used to be able to, but I still don't like them. Like, I just have the like regular lock grips, like they're checkered, but they're heavier than checkered. I don't know.
I just have the lock bogeys. That's what I've always gone
Those
with.
are pretty rough, though.
Yeah, I guess I've learned to tolerate them, and mine are all kind of older, so they've worn down a little bit because they're just plastic.
Palm swell. Okay, those are the. I'm mistaken on which ones were the bogeys. Okay, yeah, the bogeys are on the rougher side, but the ones I have, I bought them from Dan. And by the way, if you want to get in on a Blue Bullets buy, Reddit has that. Dan is running it.
Put that on hold.
I'm looking for grips.
I know. So you keep looking for grips. I'm going to explain why that's not happening. So Dan posted, I think on Facebook, basically Blue Bullets is shutting down for like a month or two to do maintenance and like redo all of their dies, and basically, he said it was a banner. Let's see, Blue Bullets. So that is,
it's on hold.
Yeah, it says, unfortunately, due to several issues that have arisen, our ability to manufacture certain items has been temporarily diminished. We are working to correct the issue and hope to be back to full capacity within 1 to 2 months. We are continuing to fulfill orders daily while we work to overhaul our machinery and cut new molds. All items affected by this issue are marked out of stock temporarily while we work on these issues. And it's the 9mm.
Yeah.
Those are the ones that don't work.
Okay. My bad. Never mind. All right. I found the grips. I just have the full checkered grips.
Okay.
On my Shadow 2. I think they're great. They do the job. I don't need any more than that. That's basically the texture that's on my Tac Sport as well, but those were Henning grips. But that is a bigger pistol. The palm swells are definitely better for a Shadow 2. Yeah, I don't think you need, if you have like baby soft hands, like you might need more rough grip than just full checkered, but are you going to be able to tolerate it?
Right. And that's the biggest thing is the ability to tolerate, because I know because Patriot Defense is the one that Lane was using, and he indicated a couple times that he like missed his draw, but his hand was so locked into position from it that he couldn't readjust it.
Yeah, that's
during
another
the course of
downside
fire.
of super rough grips is you can't adjust until it gets to the point where they get a little, you leave some DNA in there and some dirt and some pro grip and gunk and shit. Then you'll kind of regain that ability to re-grip on the fly. But yeah, if you have brand new super rough grips, you ain't re-gripping shit. Like, you're stuck with that unless you like let go and re-grip.
Yep. And I want to say it was Steven that was telling me that he missed his grip and cut his hand and then had to shoot the stage or the practice or whatever with a cut in his hand, trying to, not, trying to focus on the stage while also focusing that your hand is bleeding on your gun. So
yeah,
it's something to worry about. I mean, as people are getting ready for your next season, and you're like, the next best thing or this instructor's got this new yada, yada, yada. Check with people around you. I guarantee you, people at your club have a box of grips that you can hold and see if you like. But sometimes they can be too rough. Other times they can be too big. Like I have large hands, so for me, I'm always trying to expand the size of my gun. But like I was playing with my 10mm the other day, and I'm like, this is great. And then I went to hit the mag release. I'm like, I actually have to like adjust my hand.
Oh,
and,
you can't reach the mag release?
With my firing hand now, I it's a subtle adjustment, but I did have to kind of adjust it, and I was like,
oh
wait,
wow,
how do normal people hit this mag release? And so understanding when you're playing with the grips, you also got to play with, can I reach the button? Because I know some people will have two different sized grip panels because they need one hand to have more contact than the other, or for some people it's just getting that finger down to the frickin' to where it needs to be. It can be tough depending on the size of the grip and the size of the hand that's dealing with it.
Yeah, I'm looking on Lock's website. I can't find. They used to have a place where it like described what the grips were and what it meant. Oh, I found the list. Bogies and checkered are the ones they have the most of. There's that grenade one. That one was pretty rough, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, the lockjaws are the ones that I think Nick and Steven were playing with, and I think the Patriot Defense were the ones that Lane was playing with.
What were the ones Lane was playing with?
Patriot Defense.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, then there's Grid Lock. Oh, those are the aluminum ones. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. The only Shadow 2 grips I've used are Henning and Lock, and the Hennings were good. They were just too thin for me. So, and the palm swells were much better. That's the thing, too. Like, most people need a fatter grip on a pistol than most pistols are made.
Yep.
Really. I have to fight this argument all the time with husbands. Like, my wife's got really small hands, so I got her a SIG 938. Oh, fuck. And then I have to explain to them why. After I teach their wife how to shoot, and then I have them shoot my Glock 34, they're like, oh, this is much easier. It's not as cute, but it's a lot easier. And, yeah. So, yeah. Now, did you talk about size? We kind of talked about size.
We just talked about it a little bit.
Okay.
Because, again, it's fitting the gun to what you're trying to accomplish with it. Because, if you're concealed carrying, you probably don't want the thickest grips in the world, and you'll tolerate a not great grip. When it's your competition gun that's outside the waistband, it doesn't matter. Like, get the grip to fit your hand. Like, I almost wonder if getting those custom, like, Olympic style ones could be, like, semi-useful, but I think that's...
Olympic style what?
The grips that they use for like bullseye pistols.
Oh,
if there was, where you can like custom fit the gun to your hand. But
I'm just gonna wrap some skateboard tape on it. That's all I need.
Right. Well, just for the final note, the Patriot Defense, their grip textures are aggressive, sissy, and hurt so good. Those are your options.
They're not okay. I like that sort of marking. It tells me what I'm getting. I like it very much. Jeff was talking about things can be too big or they can be too small. I had a joke in my head and it fell out. I don't know what it was going to be a Jeff small penis joke, and I had it, and then it disappeared. Fuck. Anyway.
Tisk.
On that note, patreon.com/not another shooting show. It's only $3.57 a month. You will get all of the rest of this episode, plus every second episode we do every single week. There's some shit talking that's going to happen in the rest of this episode. Also, some other things and stuff. But I keep forgetting we're running short on time, so I can't blather on. Patreon.com/not another shooting show. It's only $3.57 a month.